Hey guys, welcome back. I was going to go ahead and wait till my AC unit stopped running, but I'm just going to go ahead and go. It's taking a little while. So this is kind of an interesting episode. It's not exactly interesting because we've done this quite a bit, but the reason why this is interesting is this is probably the last episode of PSA Guess the Grades that's purely cards for a while. We've got like, I want to say 30, about 30 more stacks of 20 of items to be sent to the PSA right now that's prepped. But a lot of them consist of other items besides just cards. They've got the premier art boxes, and they've got the Pokemon coins as well, which, yeah, you can actually get those things graded. We're just hoping that the PSA will be accepting orders soon. They did extend their deadline, but for me it ends in September. I'm hoping they'll extend it even further since they still haven't been accepting any services at all, not even walkthrough. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. And remember, it's pretty important that you want to guess the grade because let's say you guess the grade of something right, and we feel like doing a giveaway, we may retroactively come back to the video, this video that you guessed the grade on, once the cards come back from the PSA, probably the year 2167. We get those grades back, and we'll do probably a giveaway based on if you got the grade correct of one of these cards. Now, of course, we're going to go as best as we can onto the camera and also put our own guess down for you guys to see. So if you can read my cursive, you can see there's a lot of the same Pokemon just from different sets. So first off, we're going to start with base set 2 Ninetales. It's almost like there's a fog on my camera. Don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I'm a little too close to the paper. Let's see if zooming in fixes it at all. Trying to get that to focus. Wow, this is like a first. As soon as I go to that, so I guess we'll just go one out. A lot easier to see this way for y'all, at least according to what the camera's showing me. I'm not seeing really any scratches. Man, that is really bothering me. I do not know why we are getting like a fog on our camera. Oh well. There's almost, I see a little glimmer here, but other than that, nothing really at all major. Centering looks pretty solid. How's the back? Let's see if we can zoom in again. Wow, it's being really weird. Let's see if we tilt back some, if that will fix anything. We're going to tilt back so we can present the card forward. Now I'm trying to pick the card up without sliding it across the paper, as we do not want to cause damage to the card in any way. A bit better. Super minor whitening, like super minor. This could get a 10. I definitely don't see why it's gonna get a 9, but we are going to say 9 to 10 for this card. It is looking like a pretty solid possibility even for a 10, to be honest. That's pretty fantastic. Ninetales is a pretty big hit. Next up is we have another Ninetales non-hollow. This Ninetales is from Primal Clash. Centering looks a little off left to right. Nothing major. Top to bottom a little bit. Everything else looks to be in solid order on the card. Some minor whitening. Now, in our opinion, from what we can tell, the PSA grade's a little bit harder for non-hollow cards, so we are going to say possible 8 to 9 for that one. We would say 9 to 10 if it was hollow, but it's not. And we know that the PSA seems to, in our opinion, grade a little bit harsher against non-hollows. We'll zoom out a little bit. Next up is another Ninetales. This is the E series or Quapolis Ninetales. In fact, I believe this is actually my Ninetales from my collection from years ago when I got it. I believe I got it in a themed deck from Kmart. I specifically recall going to Kmart when I got my E-Series cards, so that is what I believe I pulled this out of. Some whitening, but super minor. Again, just non-hollow, we're going to guess that it's graded against pretty harshly, so we'll say 8 to 9. We think the PSA also probably takes age into account. E-Series cards are kind of up there in their age. Next up is a base set Ninetales. Now, if I recall correctly, as I was looking this one over, and when I say looking this one over, I give these cards a very minor glance when I'm prepping for the video. So yeah, there is, what is that up top? There's something going on up top. Almost like a, yeah, slight crease almost. It's very minor, but it's there. Minor scratches in the hollow. Now, to me, what just seems funny is if there was scratches in the hollow, PSA doesn't seem to grade that harshly, but this crease here almost makes me want to say I should send this card to the CGC. In fact, as we look at the back, the whitening's a bit more intense than we would have wanted it to be. So this will be a card we send to the CGC. Yeah, it's a bummer whenever this happens, but at least it's not so damaged that I decided to do it as a giveaway card. I believe we have given away a damaged Ninetales before, so we're going to set this Ninetales to the side because that's a CGC card now. Next up, this is a really cool one, is a Hidden Legends Ninetales, and I really like what Hidden Legends did, where they put the symbol in the center of the card with olive foil. They put all the various elemental symbols at the time in the hollow foil. So it's really cool. Man, my camera is wanting to be a real pain today. Wow. Usually like we get way more crystal clear. So there's some slight, even less uprays on this one than the other. Hollow foil is in really good condition. That's always nice. I'm not quite certain what causes all these upraises. If I had to guess, it's probably someone when they keep pulling it in and out of something, or maybe some sort of binder wear by the way the binder may sit against something. The back is looking pretty good. The back looks clean. A little bit of whitening on this corner. I don't know how hard that's going to be graded against this little itty bitty thing here. That makes it difficult. We've seen some crazy grades from the PSA. So that being in mind and just knowing how insane they are, we'll probably say 7 to 8, and that's probably still high. It probably doesn't seem like it's worth it to send it in, and since we think we may get even lower than a 7, but we just gotta try and find out. So we've got a non-hollow Ninetales here. My camera's looking like it likes to act a little bit better right now. Not seeing any issues with any of the bordering in terms of thickness or displacement or centering. Pretty much no scratches, which is fantastic. I think this is also a Ninetales from my personal collection as a kid, actually. I'm not seeing hardly any whitening besides that corner. This is really in the 9 to 10 category. Well, no, we'll probably say 8 to 9 for this one, just as it's non-hollow. And we're pretty certain the PSA is going to grade kind of rough on it. We'll do a overview of what I put down for grades. I was trying to capture the camera being able to see that while I go over the cards. However, the camera apparently is not wanting to be at an angle. Wow, so this card looks like it's in fantastic condition. I hope I don't find something really lame while I'm going over this. So there's such a minor scratch there. I doubt that will go against us. There is some off-centering, and there is a very minor uptick. The off-centering is actually more drastic left to right. I still think we sit in the almost 10 category, so we're going to guess ourselves 9 and 10. Hold on. Okay, so now we're down in the 9s for sure, and there's some stains. So now we're sitting in the 8 to 9 category. 10 definitely would have been nice. Ooh, yeah, now we're more in the 8 category. So we're just going to guess a straight 8. And that might be high, actually, just because of how the PSA is. But it is a hollow, so there should be probably some leeway. But we're going to guess a flat 8. And next up is a non-hollow Brockster Trio. So we're done with the Ninetales now. Sorry, guys, to disappoint. Centering looks fine. Everything seems to be pretty solid order. How's the back? Back looks fine to me too. I don't see why this couldn't get like 100% an 8. Maybe even a 9. There's some super minor stuff, and just as a non-hollow, we just have a feeling that it kind of puts it out of the 10 category, so we're going to guess 8 to 9 for that Brockster Trio. This is a Champion's Path Hollow Machamp. Interesting hollow foil pattern. Centering looks fine. That might be a possible bleed. Let me see if it's just my camera. Hold on. There is... Yeah, there is bleed, but it's so minor. It's on the entire card. Now you have to look really close, even in here. Yeah, you can sort of see it. That's not the light reflecting off that hitting the wax. There is actual very slight bleed, but I'm not going to try and put that down. I'm not even certain they'll catch it, to be honest. It's a little bit thicker on the top and the bottom for the border. We're gonna say 9 to 10. It's a pretty solid card. Really, you want a 10 for Machamp. And that is crazy that his one punch is 200 damage. But really, Macho Revenge could be a really strong attack too. If you just discard a ton of fighting energy. It's kind of funny that when I say 9 to 10, yeah. It's kind of funny that Pokemon kind of just overlooked the Earth Elemental and there's like, oh, fighting type instead of just saying Earth Elemental. They want to be a little bit different. This looks like a really nice card. Please, nothing crazy. Really nice hollow foil Pidgeot. Yeah, that's really clean. Border is pretty much flawless. Oh, I hope the back is in the same condition. The back is looking super solid. I'm just gonna go ahead and guess 10. It's a super solid card. That is just, man, that is what we like to see. Come on. Would have been more fantastic if it was a symbolist, because it was Japanese, but yeah, we're just guessing straight 10. I mean, that'd be nuts if it came back any less. Alright, next up is another Pidgeot. This one is from Pop Series 2, which is actually a series that I never heard of until I was pulling this up. That's their symbol there for Pop Series 2. He's definitely in action. Centering looks pretty solid. Not seeing any issues on the front. Hollow foil looks like there's no scratches. Not really seeing any sort of misprint error currently. Oh, the back is solid too. This looks like another 10. Wow. That would be really nice to get these back-to-back 10s. Dang. Yeah, and this is definitely an early 2000s card based on the stats. They're not too crazy. But man, wow. Yeah, I think that's a 10. Looks like a 10. Next up is a non-hollow jungle Pidgeot. Gotta love Pidgeot's head feathers, how long they are. So there's a slight uprise up here. The border is thick, but it's thick everywhere, so it is even centering. How's the back? Minor whitening, minor whitening. An 8 might be high, but that's what we're going to guess. And the reason why it might be high again is just because it's non-hollow. And even I've seen some cards that are thick, even though the centering is, even though the border is, the same all around. I've seen the PSA still trying to be like, well, it shouldn't be that thick, even though it's even all around. But to each their own. This to me was, at least when I was playing, because this was in my era. These tropical cards were just so cool, and especially the backgrounds created a scene, completed a scene. Okay, so yeah, I had a second look at this card while I was preparing for the video, and this one's more beat up than than I wish it was. So the front looks decent. When you get to the back, I'm not. Oh, I guess it just came back down. There's a huge, like whiting uplift, and I can fold it up a little bit, but I'm pretty certain the PSA will catch that. So this is going to be a CGC card. It's a shame because these are really cool cards, and I know people really like to collect the Tropical Island series because that was a very low card count. So we're going to send that one to CGC. This next one we already know we're sending to CGC, but I'm going to go ahead and show it just to keep consistency with the 20 cards, and also to explain why I might be sending something to the CGC. So up front, it looks pretty fine, which is pretty typical. And there's it's almost like a crease. I'm certain PSA would count it as a crease. And the centering is off, and the corners aren't cut very well. And then when you get to the other side, we have a lot of whitening on the corners. It's just too much whitening. And if this was like hollow first edition, I'd probably consider sending it to the PSA. But with it being non-hollow, non-first edition, and having that much whitening, I'm going to send it to the CGC. I just realized I put this back on there. That's not going to the CGC. This is going to the CGC. So we're at 3 cards so far being sent to the CGC. Next up is a Hollow Jungle First Edition Vileplume. Now this one was coming close to being sent to the CGC. There is a lot of silvering. However, the centering is still decent. Lots of silvering all around the border. The hull foil's in pretty decent condition. It's first edition jungle. Not seeing any sort of misprint. Looks good. Now, it's kind of funny. Vileplume is definitely like a glass cannon because this is jungle, so this is right at the same time frame as Space Set. In fact, I believe it was within the same year as Space Set. Petal Dance, only 3 leaf energies. That's not that hard of a requirement. This attack does 40 damage times the number of heads. You're flipping 3 coins. I got decent at coin flipping as a kid, and even still as an adult, so I could definitely probably make all 3 land. That's 120 damage. That is one-hitting a Charizard, and this is in that same time era, which you're taking a risk, but if the timing applied, you would be able to just straight destroy Charizard. Now, what sucks is the huge drawback. Vileplume is now confused after doing damage, and that's not if you get tails. That's just after the damage is done. So it's definitely a one hit, one go. That is a drawback. And then Pokemon Power Heal once during your turn before your attack, you flip a coin of heads. Remove one damage counter from one of your Pokemon. This count, can't be used if it's sleep, confused, or paralyzed. So you have to use this before you attack. To be honest, Vileplume does those seem kind of OP as long as you have some ways to get rid of confusion in a timely manner. Alright, so we go to the front. The back definitely isn't in perfect condition. There's a decent amount of whitening. We're looking at 6 to 7, and that's going to be our guess is 6 to 7. And we don't think that's too high, but maybe you guys do. Just guess your grades in the comments below for first edition Jungle Hollow Vileplume. Next up is Jungle Non-Hollow Vileplume. And this one from our first glance didn't need to be sent to the CGC, so let's take a look. There's definitely some stains and some uplift. The uplift wasn't that huge of a deal, but we're just seeing the stains now. It kind of stands out. Again, this is a non-hollow. Second glance for sure. Absolutely. Send this to the CGC. In fact, we're going to go ahead and see if we can't possibly get some more of this almost like... yeah, it's coming off. It's like just some sort of substance that dried to it. This is definitely going to the CGC. Now, some of you might be thinking, why am I deliberately separating things that go to the CGC versus the PSA? Just go ahead and send it to the PSA. The value and the grade should be the same, but the grade's not going to be the same. Me and some other people have had the discussion, mainly me and Vintage Pro 100 Brothers have had the discussion. From what we've seen, at least forums-wise, and even some of our personal experience, I know he's done PSA. I don't know if he's done either of the other two, BGS or CGC, and I've only done PSA as well. But what we can tell is the PSA getting to the 7 to 10 is a very high category. In fact, we would, we'll argue that. And the PSA, a PSA 8 could also possibly be a PSA 9 or 10. Just kind of, luck of the draw, because an 8 to a 10 really isn't too far off from each other for PSA. But getting into those barriers is very difficult. While with a CGC, it seems like you can almost immediately get a CGC 8, even if you had like a PSA 6. So, and the value doesn't equal out that way. A CGC 8 is usually still worth more than a PSA 6. So if you think your card's going to get a PSA 7 or below, it might be better to send it to the CGC if you're looking for that value aspect, which we kind of are based on what our series is. So, and still don't worry about guessing the grade for a CGC grade on this video for any of my videos that are specifically for PSA up front. We are going to do a separate CGC video submission video. Also, we've never sent anything to the CGC, and submitting things into different card graders, they each do have their own little tedious forms that are different and submission processes. Now, without further ado, we'll go ahead and carry on. Luckily, this card was, as far as I can remember, in pretty spectacular condition. Looking at it now, it is. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the absolute cooler Vileplumes. It's Erica's Vileplume, and it's Japanese Erica's Vileplume. So we can see the hollow foil pretty much near flawless condition. Everything looks pretty solid. Super minor silvering on the bottom. Centering looks, perfect. We do have some uplifts here and some stains. Let's see if we can get some of those stains to come off. I don't know what's causing these stains, and I wonder if I got these Vileplumes all from the same person. So if it wasn't for the stains and the uplift, it definitely would have been a very super clean back. but it's still really, really minor stuff. The stain's a little bit more apparent to me in person than the uplift, and there's some waver. So that does kind of suck because the front of this Erica's Vileplume is just near flawless. We were looking at closer to a 9 to 10. Now, keeping all those things in mind, we might just say a flat 7. Hopefully it doesn't get lower than that. But we still think that card's worth sending into PSA. Now, this one was a huge disappointment because this card probably looked good at first glance. In fact, if I hold it like this, it does. As I raise this up, you can really see this crease. So I am really surprised that I put this into a pile to be sent to the PSA. But I may have done that after I had some other submissions that seemed like were going to get low but got high for the PSA. So we probably won't even send this into the CGC. Granted, this could still probably get a CGC 2 or higher, maybe into a CGC 4 category. There's a lot of removal on the wax in the back, and that crease is pretty serious. So this will probably become a giveaway card. In fact, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take it and put it into what would usually be a giveaway sleeve that we had laying around right next to us. So this will eventually probably be one of our giveaway cards. Now, it might seem kind of lame, but we're just so low for subs that really we can't really justify doing a super expensive giveaway. So giving out these slightly damaged cards is kind of how we do some of our giveaways, or most of our giveaways. So we'll put him to the side. Regardless, by the way, it's still a really, really beautiful card. Hollow foil is pretty much mostly intact except for that one crease. Centering's all there. I mean, it's really still a very nice card. So someone will appreciate it. Next up is Dark Vileplume. I am actually considering buying a actual first edition Team Rocket sealed booster box. We'll see how that goes. So it looks like there's some sort of stain on the corner. I don't know why all these Vileplumes have some sort of stain. It's very weird. All foil is pretty much intact. Those aren't scratches. That's the actual wind behind Vileplume in this little scene. I just now noticed, I never noticed this before, but that is Vileplume's petals for the hollow foil on this card. It's the first time I've ever noticed that. Now there is some minor nicks on the front, really super minor stuff. The back looks solid. I'm gonna see if I can wipe it off on my finger. Doesn't look like it made it worse. Doesn't look like it made it a little bit better. So there's some stains and some whitening. I don't know. This may go to the CGC. I still think it's PSA worthy. I'm gonna take a look at it in person. Sorry guys, I gotta take a closer look at this. I noticed the stains, but really the card itself is intact. This is going to sound crazy, but I could see this getting a PSA 8 just because of some previous submissions that we've done in the past. So this will still be PSA, and we are going to do PSA 8 as our guess. And up last is Erica's Vileplume, but in English. The bordering is thick all around, however, it's pretty much still equal. Now, this is the reverse of all the Vileplumes. In terms of this one, seems to have quite a bit of minor scratches all on the hollow foil, which is a real shame. So we probably lost 1 point there. I know it would seem like it should be more, but really it doesn't seem like the PSA seems to care when it comes to that. It's really weird, so much text that they changed the font for this card. Okay, now we're talking about quite a bit of whitening on the back. We're definitely at 8 or below. We're probably closer to 6 to 7, but with this being still an English card, Erica's Vileplume, we are going to go ahead and still send that to the PSA. And we are just going to guess 6 to 7. Now that does complete our guesses, but we are going to go ahead and do a quick review, so that way people can guess based on what we saw, because we got to see these cards in person while you didn't see them through the camera. The camera's acting up. Base set 2 Ninetales, we said 9 to 10. Primal Clash Ninetales, we said 8 to 9. Aquapolis Ninetales, we said 8 to 9. Base set Ninetales, we are sending to the CGC. Hidden Legends Ninetales, we said 7 to 8. Neo Destiny Ninetales, we said 8 to 9. Japanese Brock Ninetales, we said 8. Japanese Brock and Trio, we said 8 to 9. Champions Path Machamp, we said 9 to 10. Japanese Jungle Pidgeot, we said 10. Pop Series 2 Pidgeot, we said 10. Oh man, I hope both those are right. Jungle Pidgeot, we said 8. Tropical Pidgeot, we said CGC. Dark Vileplume, we said CGC. First edition Jungle Vileplume, we said 6 to 7. Jungle Vileplume, we said CGC. Erica's Japanese Vileplume, we said 7. Jungle Hollow Vileplume Japanese, we said CGC or free. That's one that has a damaged priest. That will probably be a giveaway card. Japanese Team Rocket Dark Vileplume, we said 8. And this last one we may be guessing high. Sadly, hopefully we're not. Hopefully we're guessing low, and hopefully it comes back higher, but I really doubt this will get an 8. But Erica's Vileplume English, we said 6 to 7. And that is our guesses for those grades. Make sure you guess the grades in the comments below. And good luck for getting them right. Thanks for playing. Bye.